Nightclubs and speakeasies, Walkin the dance floors, Confessions of a Cameraman by Danland Pro.
The history of nightclubs and speakeasies in Chicago is intertwined with the city's rich cultural tapestry and vibrant nightlife, and they played a vital role in shaping Chicago's social dance scene. Prohibition and the rise of speakeasies. In the 1920s, Prohibition took hold, banning the sale of alcohol in the U.S. However, this law did little to slow the appetite for nightlife, particularly in urban centers like Chicago. With the legal closure of saloons, a hidden network of speakeasies, illegal, often secret bars, emerged, and they quickly became the heartbeat of Chicago's underground entertainment. Speakeasies flourished in neighborhoods like Bronzeville, the South Loop, and the near North Side. These places weren't just about liquor. They were cultural hubs where jazz reigned supreme and social dance began to evolve in exciting new directions. Jazz music, with its syncopated rhythms and improvisational spirit, gave rise to dance styles that matched its upbeat energy. Dancers of all backgrounds would step into dimly lit basements, back rooms, or disguised storefronts to dance to the infectious sounds of Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, and other jazz legends. The Charleston, Lindy Hop, and Shag became dance hall favorites. The sheer freedom of the speakeasy environment allowed people to experiment with new moves, blending traditional steps with improvisation. These clandestine gatherings also crossed racial and economic lines, contributing to the birth of a more diverse and inclusive dance culture. The golden age of nightclubs, the 1930s to the 1950s. As Prohibition ended in 1933, nightclubs exploded onto the scene. Establishments like the Savoy Ballroom in Bronzeville became iconic venues where live music and dance were celebrated nightly. The Savoy was known for its immense dance floor, where jazz and big band music continued to fuel social dance. The introduction of swing music further revolutionized dancing in Chicago, popularizing partner-based dances with intricate footwork and smooth gliding movements. The Savoy was significant not only as a venue for entertainment, but as a place where social barriers dissolved. It was one of the few integrated dance spaces, allowing both black and white patrons to mingle on the same floor, an experience that was rare in segregated America. These nightclubs were fertile ground for the birth of Chicago's unique take on swing and social dance. The birth of the bop in the soul era. As jazz gave way to rhythm and blues and eventually soul music, the 1960s saw the emergence of the bop, a dance that mirrored the smooth, laid-back rhythms of the city's soul sound. Nightclubs such as Pepper's Lounge and High Chaparral were among the first to embrace this new dance, which focused on smooth, fluid movements and precision footwork. Unlike the high-energy swing dances of previous decades, the bop was more relaxed, intimate, and deeply rooted in improvisation, making it the perfect complement to the mellow sounds of artists like The Temptations, Marvin Gaye, and Aretha Franklin. During this period, social clubs and block parties also became popular venues for the bop. As nightclubs hosted boppin' competitions, dancers would showcase their personal style and creativity, emphasizing grace and connection between partners. It was during these years that the bop evolved from simply being a local dance to a cultural phenomenon, an embodiment of Chicago's rhythm and style. The emergence of Chicago Steppin'. The post-World War II era saw the birth of Chicago Steppin', an evolution of earlier partner dances like the jitterbug and swing. Steppin' is marked by smooth rhythmic movements and intricate footwork, often done to soul, R&B, or jazz music. The dance is social and improvisational, with the lead and follow dynamic creating a flowing, relaxed style. By the late 1960s and 1970s, Steppin' had found a home in Chicago's nightclubs, particularly those located on the city's south side. Clubs like the Checkerboard Lounge and Club 47 hosted Steppin' nights, bringing together dance enthusiasts from across the city. The music of artists like Sam Cooke, Curtis Mayfield, and James Brown became the soundtrack for this new movement. These nightclubs provided a space for the older generation of jazz and boppers to pass on their knowledge to younger steppers ensuring that the tradition of Chicago-style social dance continued to evolve. The dance became more than just a pastime. It was a symbol of Chicago's black culture, resilience, and community spirit. While steppin had already established itself as a cultural staple, the disco and house movements of the 70s and 80s pushed Chicago's nightlife into new directions. House music, with its infectious beats and deep bass lines, drew from the earlier traditions of jazz, soul, and funk, creating an inclusive environment where people from all walks of life could lose themselves in the music. Steppers often found ways to blend their smooth dance style with the evolving soundscapes, continuing Chicago's legacy as a city where music and dance evolved hand in hand. The 1980s and 1990s. Revival and mainstreaming of steppin. During the 1980s and 1990s, Chicago saw a resurgence of interest in steppin. New nightclubs and lounges embraced the dance, while radio shows and dance competitions helped steppin gain widespread attention. Mr. Ricky's on the South Side became a legendary spot for steppin, attracting dancers of all skill levels. Meanwhile, major competitions like V103's World's Largest Steppers contest cemented the dance's status within Chicago's nightlife. Throughout these decades, the history of nightclubs and speakeasies had come full circle. What started as hidden underground venues in the days of Prohibition had grown into vibrant, mainstream institutions that were integral to Chicago's identity. The venues provided the perfect environment for steppin to develop its smooth, sensual style. A new millennium. Steppin goes global. By the early 2000s, as steppin began gaining more widespread recognition, nightclubs continued to serve as critical spaces for dancers to refine their craft and pass down the art form to younger generations. Clubs like the 50-Yard Line and Mr. G's Supper Club have become legendary for hosting some of the city's most famous steppin events. These venues are etched in history as both cultural landmarks, stamped in the memories of legendary steppers as psychological museums, where steppin is preserved, celebrated, and reinvented. With the help of web designers like Narrate and platforms like YouTube in the mid-2000s, the world could now witness what was once a local tradition. Steppin began to spread beyond Chicago's borders, yet the city's nightclubs remained at the heart of its evolution. These venues were where dancers continued to gather to practice, compete, and connect, ensuring that the vibrant legacy of Chicago's social dance scene endured. The legacy of Chicago's nightclubs and social dance. Today, the story of Chicago's nightclubs and speakeasies is not just one of music and dance, but one of community and cultural resilience. From the secret speakeasies of the 1920s to the iconic nightclubs of the 20th century, these spaces have been pivotal in defining what it means to socialize, dance, and create in Chicago. Social dance in the city has always been about more than just movement. It has been a way for communities to come together, break down barriers, and express themselves. The foundation of Chicago's social dance, particularly steppin, was laid in these nightclubs and speakeasies. They offered not only entertainment but also a place for artistic and social expression, providing the perfect environment for innovation in dance. This legacy continues today, making Chicago's dance culture one of the most influential in the world. What makes these venues significant is that they maintain the spirit of the speakeasies and nightclubs that came before. They are places where community, music, and movement come together, carrying forward the legacy of social dance in Chicago. Whether it's through the bop, steppin, or walkin, Chicago's nightclubs have always been where dance and culture collide, setting the foundation for a timeless tradition that endures today.